Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Elimination Chamber pay-per-view results. Prior to the show, the first match got Akira Tozawa versus Buddy Murphy for your Cruiserweight title match. For the first of the 6 title matches on the card, Vic Joseph is joined in by Nigel McGuinness and Aiden English. Out first comes the challenger, Akira Tozawa. Cruiserweight champion Buddy Murphy without next. Bell rings and they trade holds. Murphy looks to take control first, but they trade holds in the middle of the ring. Tozawa with strikes, but Murphy just takes them. They go to the floor. Murphy tries for a chop, but Tozawa ducks and the champion nails the ring post. They bring it back in the ring. Murphy decks Tozawa. Murphy is still selling the hand injury. Murphy goes back out and Tozawa runs the ropes for a suicide dive. Murphy catches Tozawa. Big move on the floor, dropping him on his head with a suplex. Murphy brings it back in the ring and keeps control. Tozawa more strikes, but Murphy continues to take them. Murphy drops Tozawa. We cut backstage to Caleb Braxton trying to get a word from Kofi Kingston outside of the New Day's locker room. Big E and Xavier come out and say Kofi is in the middle of receiving a fine massage from Mrs. Butterworth right now. Big E and Woods talk Kofi up as Murphy dominates Tozawa in the ring. Murphy with a close 2 count. Murphy keeps Tozawa grounded again, and fans look to rally him on. For Murphy with an abdominal stretch, Woods goes on about how Kofi will become the WWE champion tonight. Tozawa counters the stretch and tosses Murphy out of the ring to the floor. Murphy runs back in, but Tozawa drops him with a super kick. Tozawa more offense. Tozawa with a missile drop kick from the top and a double knees in the corner. Tozawa misses the shot, but Murphy misses the counter. Tozawa with a back drop driver. Tozawa with a shining wizard for a 2 count. Tozawa goes up top while Murphy is laid out on the floor. Tozawa is forced to roll through as Murphy does get up. More back and forth action. Tozawa climbs up, but Murphy headbutts him to the mat. Tozawa runs right back up, but Murphy looks to counter in midair. Tozawa turns that into a huge hurricanrana midair for a close 2 count. They tangle again. Murphy counters and drops Tozawa onto his knee. Then delivers another knee to the face. Murphy keeps control, but Tozawa kicks out at 2 again. Murphy talks trash and kicks Tozawa around. Tozawa comes back with chops, fighting to his feet. Tozawa rocks Murphy and goes for a German suplex, but Murphy resists. Tozawa with a huge clothesline and then a German for a close 2 count. Tozawa then tries to rally the crowd again and drags Murphy to the corner and goes to climb up, but Murphy grabs his leg. Tozawa kicks him away. Murphy runs into a super kick. Tozawa with a big inverted hurricanrana from the corner. Murphy goes to the floor and Tozawa runs the ropes for a big suicide dive. Then another dive. Tozawa brings it back in the ring as this an awesome chant starts up from the crowd. Tozawa goes up top, kicks Murphy away. Tozawa with a big senton to the back while Murphy is draping over the middle rope. Murphy still kicks out at 2 somehow. Tozawa slaps Murphy while Murphy is trying to get up from his knees. Tozawa runs into a big jumping knee. Murphy drops Tozawa for a close 2 count. Tozawa comes back with octopus submission. Murphy bites out and immediately nails Murphy's Law for the pin to retain. After the match, music hits and Murphy celebrates as we go to replays. And that's your pre-show match. And the chamber starts off with a pay-per-view with a video package. Live from the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. As Michael Coleslaw welcomes us, he's joined in with Renee Young, Corey Graves, and WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix as we see the chamber structure around the ring. Phoenix will be the guest commentator for tonight's opener. Elimination Chamber for the women's title was up first. Naomi and Carmella. This is your tag team championship match. Naomi and Carmella versus Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose versus Tamina Snuka and Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan versus Sasha Banks and Bayley versus the Iconics. We see women's tag team titles displayed at ringside as Carmella was out first, followed by her partner Naomi. Carmella and Naomi entered the first pod. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan are out next, representing the Riot Squad. Coleslaw shows us the German and Spanish announced team that ringside. Out next are the Iconics, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. As Mike Rome does introductions, the Iconics enter their pods and the referee locks them in. Out next comes Team Nia Jax and Tamina as they taunt their other competitors and head to their pod. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose were out next to start the match. Sasha Banks and Bayley were out last. Of course, they start the match off first. As the stipulations in previous weeks, the bell rings and the chamber is locked up. Two teams stare each other down. Deville and Rose strike first. Rose hits Banks into her corner, and then they go to double team Bayley now. Bayley counters and drops Rose. Banks takes out Deville with a drop kick. Banks and Bayley both double team on Rose and Deville for a double pin attempt for a 2 count. Banks and Bayley continue working over their opponents at the same time. Banks drops Rose and Deville out on the steel at the same time. Bayley gets a 2 count on Deville. Banks and Bayley double team Deville in the corner, but she fights them both off. Deville with a big slam to Banks out of the corner for a close 2 count. The pants pop. Rose works over Bayley in the corner. Rose with a backbreaker for a quick 2 count. Rose and Deville take control on the steel now. Rose drives Banks face first into the steel wall. Rose brings Banks back in the ring for a close 2 count as Deville works on Bayley out on the steel. Rose tosses Banks back on the steel platform. Rose then works on Bayley now. Deville looks to deliver a kick to Banks, but she moves and Deville kicks the steel. Going down hard on her leg, Rose gets her leg stuck up in the steel wall. Bayley drops her for a big move on the steel. The timer counts down and the next team in is the Riot Squad. Banks and Bayley start attacking as the pod is open, but Liv and Logan turn it around. Deville and Rose face off with Liv and Logan in the ring. Both teams on each other. Liv kicks Rose in the face. Deville drops Logan with a knee to the face. Banks and Bayley are still out on the steel outside the ring. Liv levels Deville with a big shot. Deville comes right back and drops Liv. Liv with a 2 count on Deville. Deville with more strikes to Liv, including a big kick that sends her down. All 6 superstars are down. Bayley runs over with a 2 count on Liv. Bayley with shots to Rose, Deville, Liv, and then Logan. Bayley's fired up now. Bayley goes up top, but Rose cuts her off. Deville and Rose climb up the cage dome for a double superplex to Bayley. Liv and Logan run over to stop it, turn it into a powerbomb suplex attempt. Everyone is down again. The timer starts counting down again. The next team into the match is the Iconics. Peyton and Billy start off going for pin attempts on the other superstars that are down. They argue some with the referee in the chamber. They double team Rose down, then Liv, then sending her into the ring post. They send Logan into the post next. Iconics drop Deville and then Rose. Iconics double team Deville and slam her on her face. Liv gets the double team next. Iconics stand over everyone else and single out Bayley next. Bayley holds Peyton with her knees up to her face for a 2 count, and Sasha finally gets back up to break the pin. Iconics double team Banks, working on the arm as she has been selling. Banks kicks out just in time before double teaming. Iconics scream out about the count some more. Iconics then smash Banks and Bayley into the steel face first, dominating them out on the platform. Peyton and Billy show some frustration after another pin attempt. The timer counts down, and the Iconics continue to control the other teams. The next team into the match is Carmella and Naomi. They come in with offense on the Iconics. Naomi double drop kicks Liv and Logan. Carmella drops Deville in the corner, then Rose. Carmella and Naomi with Bronco Busters on Banks and Bayley. Then the Iconics. Carmella and Billy climb the chamber wall as Naomi fights off Peyton and then Liv. Billy tries to powerbomb Carmella from the wall to the platform, but it's countered as Carmella sends Peyton into the steel face first. Carmella and Naomi double team Logan now. Naomi with a split leg moonsault to Logan, but Liv breaks the pin up. Everyone is Everyone gets involved now, trading their holds and finishers in the middle of the ring. Logan drops Rose with a fisherman suplex, but DeVille hits a spear on Logan. Carmella drops DeVille with a super kick, and everyone is down again. DeVille takes down Carmella and he covers her for a 2 count. Carmella with Dakota Silence to DeVille, but Rose breaks at the pin. Naomi comes from behind and confronts Rose for a pop-up in the middle of the ring. Naomi unloads on Rose. Rose knees her, but Naomi hits a rear view from the second rope. Iconics double team Naomi and pin her. Naomi and Carmella have been eliminated. Iconics celebrate the first elimination. Other teams get up and surround the Iconics now. The timer counts down, and here comes the final team, Tamina and Nia. Jackson Stuka unload on their opponents and stand tall. The Iconics have locked themselves in a pod, and Jackson Stuka overpowered to break into the pod to get them out. Jackson Stuka then ragdolled the Iconics, tossing them back into the middle of the ring. From the steel platform, Jackson Stuka hit double Samoan drop to eliminate the Iconics. Liv and Logan immediately attack Stuka and Jax. They take out Jax and go to work double teaming Stuka. Jax makes a save and stops a pin attempt on Stuka. DeVille and Rose double team Jax and Stuka now. Jax kicked out of a pin attempt by DeVille. Banks and Bayley double team DeVille and Rose in the ring now. Bayley with a big knee to Stuka in the corner. Banks follows up with knees of her own to Stuka. Banks and Bayley drop Liv next, then Logan as she charges. Banks and Bayley with a 2 count on Logan. More back and forth. Banks with a close 2 count on DeVille. Jax and Stuka take down Banks and Bayley again. Liv and Logan retreat to the top of a pod now. Liv leaps from the top of a pod, taking down Jax and Rose. Logan drags DeVille over to the ring, but DeVille kicks out at 2. Jax grabs Liv from the second rope. That's a big Samoan drop from the ropes. Stuka comes flying off the top with a superfly splash to Logan and Liv at the same time. Stuka covers them and gets a pin. Liv and Logan have been eliminated. Jackson Stuka keeps control. Jax tosses Bayley out onto the steel. And then Jax ends up charging at Bayley, but Bayley moves and Jax crashes into a pod, destroying it. Jax is laid out in the debris now. Stuka looks on, he can't believe it. We get a replay of what just happened. DeVille, Rose, Banks, and Bayley team up on Stuka now. Banks with a top rope Meteora. Bayley with a top rope elbow on Stuka. Everyone covers her, and the team of Jax and Stuka have been eliminated. So we come down to Bayley and Banks versus DeVille and Rose as the fans pop. These are the two teams who started the match. They start brawling. Rose drops Bayley with a knee. Banks fights DeVille off the ring. Rose runs into a knee from Banks. DeVille rolls Banks up for a 2 count. Banks with a backstabber to DeVille, and Bayley follows up with a Bayley to belly, but Rose breaks the pin at 2. Bayley and Banks can't believe it. Fans chant, "This is awesome." Rose climbs to the top of a pod, stopping Bayley from coming up the other side. Banks climbs to the top of a pod and works Rose over now. Bayley joins Banks on the top of a pod with Rose. Banks and Bayley slam Rose back into the plexiglass. They grab Rose again and look to double team Rose off the top of the pod. DeVille climbs to the top of the pod now. Bayley kicks DeVille back down to the platform. Rose knocks Bayley to the platform. DeVille rams Bayley back into the support beam of a pod. Banks comes down to check on Bayley. Banks sends DeVille into the steel. Rose comes down and sends Banks into a pod. Rose brings Banks into the ring, slams her face first in the middle of the ring for a close 2 count. Rose can't believe it. Rose delivers and gets another 2 count. DeVille accidentally hits a spear on Rose. Banks ends up applying the Banks statement to DeVille. DeVille resists and Banks has trouble with the shoulder. Banks repositions and DeVille taps for the finish with a Banks statement. Winners and new tag team champions for your women's division, Sasha Banks and Bayley. After the match, Banks and Bayley sit up, take the titles, clutching them as the music hits. We got to replay. Charlie Caruso enters the chamber to interview the champions about making history. Fans interrupt with a "You deserve it" chant as they struggle to speak. Banks talks about how they do this for the fans and for everyone in the back. She goes on and says this is the first of more change to come. They raise the titles in the air as the fans pop as Bayley music starts up as they exit. SmackDown Tag Team titles Usos versus Shane McMahon and The Miz. What's up next? We go to the ring out for his SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Miz, as he takes the mic on the stage to first congratulate Sasha Banks and Bayley on their big win. Miz then dedicates this match to his dad, his daughter, Monroe Sky. And wife Maurice is out with him, and they announce that she's pregnant with a second child. Miz dedicates the match to his unborn child. Miz brings out his partner, Shane McMahon, next, and they head to the ring together. Tom Phillips is on commentary now. He's joined in with Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. Out next comes the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. Jimmy starts off with Miz as they go at it. Jimmy drops Miz with a shoulder. The trade counters, and Miz goes for a backbreaker. Neck breaker combo, but it's blocked. Miz catches Uso in midair and goes for the figure four, but it's blocked. Jay tags in, and Miz puts on the brakes in the corner. Regrouping with Shane, Miz and Jay go at it. Miz drops Jay and tosses Jimmy. Miz with a corner close out to Jay. Shane tags in and goes to the top for the coast to coast, while Miz holds Jimmy. Miz holds Jay. Jimmy comes in from the apron and attacks, but Shane fights him off. Shane drops Jay as he charges. Shane with a 2 count on Jay. Shane with a back elbow to Jay as Miz tags in for a double team. To make it legal, Shane and Miz clothesline Jay over the top to the floor. Jimmy gets clotheslined over the top on the opposite side of the ring. The Usos look on from the floor as the champions mock them. Usos regroup on the outside. Jimmy hits the ring, but Miz unloads on him. Miz with kicks in the corner. Jay tags in, and this leads to Miz getting dropped over the top rope off of a distraction. Jay rocks Miz and uses the second rope. The referee backs him off, and Jimmy gets in a cheap shot from the floor. Jay tags back in and works over Miz in the corner. Jimmy with another quick tag, and Miz gets double teamed some more. Miz tries to get some space between he and Jimmy, but the double team shuts him down again. Jimmy keeps Miz grounded in the middle of the ring now. Miz gets close to tagging out, but Jay slams him back to the corner. Jimmy tags in and throws a towel in Shane's face to taunt him. Jimmy uses Miz's corner clothesline and works him over, taunting him. Jimmy charges, but Miz comes out of the corner and clotheslines Uso to the mat. Miz and Jimmy are both down in the middle of the ring now. Shane tags in and rocks Jay on the apron. Shane goes to work on Jimmy now. Shane with a big back drop to Jimmy. Shane bounces around the ring and drops Jimmy with a right hand. When he gets up, Jay comes in, but Shane drops him with a DDT. Shane with more offense and then gets a 2 count. Shane has the Uso down in the opposite corners. Shane goes to the top and hits a big coast to coast on Jimmy. Fans pop as Shane quickly recovers and goes back to the top. Shane looks to hit the coast to coast on Jay, but Jimmy jumps up and super kicks him out of the air. Jimmy goes up top and hits a big superfly splash on Shane, but Miz makes a save just in time to break the pin. Miz rallies from the apron as Shane and Jay are down. Miz comes in off the top. Miz with kicks to Jay now. Jay catches Miz with a Samoa drop out of nowhere. Jay gets hyped up and goes for the Rikishi splash in the corner, but Miz moves out of the way. Miz drops Jay with a DDT for a close 2 count. Miz then brings Jay to the floor and starts taking apart the main announce table. Jimmy comes flying out, but accidentally takes out Jay. Miz kicks Jimmy after the mishap. Fan chant for tables as Miz places Jay on top of the announce table. Miz motions to Shane, as Shane recovers in the ring. Shane goes to the top turnbuckle as Miz holds Jay on the announce table. Shane leaps out and puts Jay through the announce table with a big elbow drop. Miz and referee check on Shane as Shane and Jay as they are both laid out in the debris. Miz brings Jimmy back in the ring as they tackle with attempts. Jimmy blocks a skull-crushing finale and does a super kick. Jimmy goes up top for a big splash, but Miz gets his knees up. Miz gets a 2 count, follows up with a skull-crushing finale to Jimmy, but he's slow to make the cover. Miz covers for a 2 count, and Jimmy turns that into a pin after the pin attempt for the win and the titles. Quick pin attempt. After the match, Jimmy takes the titles to ringside and helps his brother up as their music plays. We go to replays. The Usos exit with the titles as Miz and Shane recover. Shocked at the loss, they also leave together. We get a backstage video from Paige to introduce a clip from her fighting with my family movie. Now, Dr. Fentez backstage with Lio Rush and Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley. She asked Rush if he is the weakest link. Dasha keeps trying to stir the pot, but Lashley isn't phased. 1-on-2 handicap match for WWE Intercontinental title, Finn Balor versus Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley. We go to the ring, and Michael Goldwell is back on commentary with Corey Graves and Renee Young. Lio Rush and Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley are out first for this handicap title match. Finn Balor was out next. Bell rings, and Balor looks to start off with Rush, but Rush quickly tags out. Lashley comes in and beats Balor down. Lashley works Balor around and focuses on the ribs as fans can't chant for Balor. Balor comes right back off the ropes and drops Lashley. Lashley turns it back around and takes Balor to the corner, putting him against the turnbuckles. Balor with a big kick to the head from the apron. Balor goes up top, comes back down as Rush charges on the apron, missing. Lashley overpowers and brings Balor back in, dodging a pin attempt and stopping on him. Rush gets involved again. Balor chases him around the ring and allowing Lashley to scoop Balor and ram him back into the barrier. Lashley rams Balor back into the apron as the referee counts. Lashley brings Balor back in the ring and drops an elbow for a 2 count. Rush wants some action now, so Lashley tags him in. Rush works over Balor and tags back in Lashley, who levels Balor for a pin attempt. Lashley keeps Balor grounded now. Lashley drops Balor with a DDT for a 2 count. Rush comes back in and keeps Balor tied up with an abdominal stretch. Balor breaks it and sends Rush flying to the corner. Balor is slow to recover. Balor runs into boots in the corner from Rush. Rush then tags back in Lashley, and Lashley rams Balor back into the corner with shoulder thrust. Lashley dominates Balor some more with some power moves. Lashley looks to go for a spear, but Rush tags himself in. Lashley doesn't look happy. Balor takes advantage and drops Rush. Rush looks to make a tag, but Balor isn't letting him by. Balor drops Rush and then knocks Lashley off the apron. Balor with a stomp to Rush and then a sling blade. Balor sends Lashley and Rush out to the floor. Balor runs the ropes and leaps out, taking them both out and down. Balor brings Rush back in and goes to hit the coup de grace for the pin to win the title. After the match, Balor takes the title and begins to celebrate as the music plays. We go to replays. Lashley is left in the ring with Rush now, and he's not happy. Lashley puts his hands on Rush and then drives him into the mat to end the segment. Belly to belly suplex, side suplex. We got calls all leads us to a preview for WWE Network documentary on Mark Henry. Video recaps Vince McMahon suspending Becky Lynch and pulling her from the WrestleMania 35 match with Ronda Rousey, replacing her with Charlotte Flair. We also see footage from the event that I attended in Alexandria when I was visiting my daughter, re-injuring her leg, but wasn't actually selling it very much. And I showed you some video of it on there and pictures from the event itself. I haven't uploaded it, but it will be uploaded whenever I'm uploading this video as well. We're going to ring out comes Charlotte Flair for the next match. Charlie Caruso's in the ring, waiting with a microphone. Charlie asks Flair when she found about WrestleMania 35 change. Flair says, "Life is good with your Charlotte Flair because she's going to WrestleMania, and last night she got to do what she loves: humiliate and deserve the man. Just desecrate the man." Flair goes on about how Becky panders to the crowd because she needs the fans and their approval. Flair heals it up, and the boos start up. Flair says she knows she's the very best on Raw and SmackDown. All of WWE fans start chanting for Becky. Flair says she's going to sit at ringside for tonight's match to see who will main event WrestleMania against the Queen. Flair throws out a woo and waits for the match. Raw Women's title match. Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey. Ruby makes her way out first as the music hits. Ruby enters the ring as Flair exits and takes her seat from ringside. Riott waits around until the music finally hits and out comes Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey. Rousey is dressed as Sonya Blade, the Mortal Kombat 11 video game character she is voicing. We get formal ring introductions from Mike Rome. The bell rings and Riott takes Ronda down. First with strikes. They tangle and Rousey launches Riott to the mat. Ruby goes to the floor for a breather as Rousey talks trash from the ring. Flair looks on from her chair in front of the announce table. Riott takes her time coming back into the ring as the referee counts. Riott comes in and fights out of a corner. Rousey counters and hits the Piper's Pit early on. Rousey grabs Riott's arm and points up at the WrestleMania 35 sign. Rousey then drops Riott into the armbar and makes her tap out for an easy win. And the match only took like maybe 2 minutes. After the bell, Rousey stood tall and looks down at Flair as the music hits. Flair struts around the ringside and enters the ring. Flair laughs and stares down at Rousey in the middle of the ring. Becky Lynch suddenly comes from the crowd on crutches, and the fans start chanting her name. Becky tosses her crutches in the ring and enters, barely able to get to her feet as the fans chant her name. Again, not selling it very much. Not much of a limp. Flair mocks her. Fans chant, she's the man now. Becky tosses a crutch at Flair, who catches it and unloads on her with the other one. Lynch beats Flair down with a crutch as Rousey watches. Lynch with another crutch shot while sending a few words to Rousey. Rousey grabs the crutch and as Lynch offers her a free shot to Flair. Flair backs into the corner and pleads as Rousey backs her up. Lynch comes from behind and drops Rousey with a crutch shot. Lynch unloads on Flair and Rousey with the crutch shots. Security hits the ring with referees. Lynch takes a crutch from Rousey and beats on her some more. Lynch limps around and smiles as fans chant her name. Lynch exits the ring and security helps her back through the crowd. Ronda looks on from ringside. Flair sits up in the ring and recovers. In the segment. No disqualification match. My feed went out, so I didn't get to see who won the match. So this is why I'm not doing it from the dirt sheets. Baron Corbin made his way out while Ronda Rousey was still out. Braun Strowman was out next. Bell rings and they get these hands chant for start up for the crowd. Corbin tosses his vest at Braun and attacks Braun. He tries to attack him, but Braun drops him. Corbin comes out again and grabs the kendo stick now. Nailing Strowman with it. Corbin brings the stick into the ring and keeps the attack going. Corbin works Strowman around the ring and places the stick into the top turnbuckle. Corbin tries to send Strowman into the kendo stick. Spike in the corner, but it's reversed. Corbin also avoids it and runs back in, but Strowman goes to work on him. Strowman toys with Corbin in the corner. Strowman snatches the stick and breaks it in half, yelling out that he doesn't need the weapon to kick Corbin's butt. Strowman drops Corbin and sends him out out of the ring for a breather. Strowman runs around the ring and sends Corbin into the barrier with a big shoulder. Strowman plays to the crowd for a pop. Strowman runs around the ring again, but Corbin throws another announce table chair at him. Strowman catches it. Strowman charges again, but Corbin sidesteps and sends Strowman into the steel steps at ringside. Corbin takes half of the steps and rams them into Strowman. Corbin with another shot with half of the steps. Corbin mocks Strowman and drops him with another step shot to the face. Corbin mocks Strowman at ringside again. Corbin brings him back in the ring and decks Strowman. Corbin drops Strowman again with another big right hand. Corbin wastes some time and plays to the crowd for some boos. Corbin charges again, but Strowman swats him away with ease. Strowman overpowers and works Corbin over. Fan chant for tables now. A table is propped up in the corner, but Corbin avoided it and looked to turn it around on Strowman. Strowman manages to catch Corbin in mid-move and drive him through the table in the corner with a big power slam. The The music suddenly interrupts and out comes Drew McIntyre as he makes his way out. Of course, it's a no DQ match. Drew marches to the ring with a steel chair. Strowman readies in the ring and waits for a fight. Bobby Lashley comes in from behind and drops Strowman with a steel chair. Drew enters the ring and joins him for the 3-on-1 melee beatdown. Lashley and McIntyre unload on Strowman with a steel chair, making it a 3-on-1 handicap match. On shots, as Corbin recovers, Strowman gets up and drops Lashley, then turns to Drew. Lashley manages to come back and level Strowman with a big spear. Drew and Lashley bring parts of the steel steps into the ring now. Corbin is up on his feet, directing traffic. Drew grabs Braun's face and talks trash now. Braun fights back and also grabs Lashley, but Corbin makes a save from behind with a steel chair. Corbin and Drew slide tables into the ring to Lashley now. Corbin and Lashley stand these tables up. Strowman slowly gets to his feet, but Drew puts him right back down with a Claymore kick. The heel stack one table on top of the other now, right in the middle of the ring. Lashley is standing on top of the steel steps, which are in front of the stacked tables. They bring Strowman over to the steps in the middle of the ring and put him through the stacked tables with a 3-way powerbomb. Very similar to the triple powerbomb the Shield used to do. Corbin covers for the pin and win. After the bell, Corbin stands tall with Lashley and McIntyre on top of the platform. They're made with the two parts of the steel steps. They raise their arms as Corbin's music hits. We go to replay with Strowman laid out in front of the heels. Of course, all leads us to a video promo for the 2019 Special Olympics World Games in Abu Dhabi next month. WWE is partner for the games. We see some of the Special Olympians from Texas in the crowd. The stage and the ramp light up with the Special Olympics logo. We see how Shane McMahon and The Miz lost the SmackDown Tag Team Champions earlier. Shane is backstage getting checked on in the trainer's room. Miz is furious about the loss. Shane tells him to relax. It will be alright. Shane says he will see Miz on Tuesday at SmackDown. Shane tells Miz to go home and relax. Miz isn't happy. We go to the stage. Out comes Lacey Evans. She walks down the ramp. As her music plays, she walks right back up the ramp to the back. Elimination Chamber for the WWE title. Kofi Kingston versus Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan. Back from another promo when it's time for your main event. Out first comes Kofi Kingston and Greg Hamilton. Does the introductions. Jeff Hardy was out next, followed by Randy Orton. AJ was out next, followed by Samoa Joe. The others enter the pods as Joe waits. WWE champion Daniel Bryan was out last with Owen at his side. Bryan calls for the music to be cut. He isn't happy about being forced to start the match, blaming it on the fans and the WWE officials who listen to them. Referees come up the ramp to back Rowan to backstage. Bryan does the no orgasm chance at Rowan being sent to the back. Fans sing goodbye to Rowan. Bryan goes on ranting before finally entering the chamber with the WWE title. He hands over the title to the referees and it's finally time to go. The bell rings and Joe is ready to fight, but Bryan stalls him, waiting on the timer to count down for the third superstar to come in to the match. Bryan tests Joe out with a few kicks. Joe catches a kick and unloads with stiff kicks of his own. Joe with a knee bar early on, taking Bryan down to the mat. Joe breaks it, but Bryan chops him in the corner. Joe takes the chop and chases Bryan to the steel platform on the outside. Joe chops Bryan over and over against the steel wall. Joe brings him back in the ring, and Bryan counters the move, but Joe powerbombs him for a 2 count. That turned into a submission. Joe gets the SCF applied in the middle of the ring. Joe gets into another submission, focusing on the arm and the shoulder. Joe gets a 2 count. Bryan comes right back and takes Joe's knee out. Bryan sends Joe out of the steel platform, out to the steel platform from the ring. Brian rams Joe face first into one of the pods. Brian stands tall and poses to mostly boos from the crowd. Brian then brings it back in the ring for a 2 count. Joe takes another chop and then drops Brian with a chop of his own. Joe with a big headbutt, more strikes. Joe misses in the corner and Brian sends him face first into the turnbuckles. Timer starts counting down again. Next superstar let loose. The match is Kofi Kingston. Kofi kicks Brian and then Joe. Kofi springboards in and goes to work. Joe blocks a DDT, but Kofi kicks him in the head from the corner. Kofi with a big top rope splash to the back of Joe for a 2 count. Brian drops Kofi gut first over the top rope. Brian goes to the top and drives a knee to Kofi's neck while he's laid out over the top rope. Brian with a 2 count on Kofi. Joe with shots to both opponents. Brian goes to the top of a pod, distracting Joe. Kofi attacks Joe from behind and takes him to the corner. Brian takes a seat and watches from the top of a pod now. Kofi leaps to the top of the pod, faces over Brian, who pleads with him. Kofi rocks Brian and works him over on the pod. Brian walks to the side of the steel wall and tries to escape from Kofi. The trade kicks up high on the steel wall. Joe climbs up and pulls Brian down. Kofi kicks Joe's hands and puts him down. Kofi drops from the top, landing on Brian and Joe both. Kofi also lands hard, but fans chant his name. Kofi gets back up, gets a 2 count to Brian, then Joe. Brian and Kofi are going at it. Kofi with a back elbow and a 2 count on Brian. Joe comes back with a big senton on Brian. Joe with a snap suplex to Kofi for a 2 count. Joe sends Brian out to the steel platform, works him over with chops against the wall. The timer counts down, and the next entrant is AJ Styles. Styles then kicks Brian in the face and drops Joe. AJ goes to work on Kofi, and then Joe again. AJ clotheslines Joe to the mat. Brian takes AJ to the corner, but AJ fights back, unloading on Brian. Brian runs into an elbow. AJ with a moonsault from the top, grabbing Brian and Kofi for a pair of inverted DDTs for a 2 count on Brian. Then a 2 count on Kofi. Fan chant for Styles as he stands tall. AJ with a big forearm to Joe. Brian climbs the steel, but AJ springboards up and knocks him off with a forearm. More back and forth between the three. Now as Joe applies a coquetted clutch to Kofi. It ends up broken, but AJ leaps in with a phenomenal forearm to Joe. AJ covers for the pin, and Joe has been eliminated. The timer counts down, and the next entrant is Jeff Hardy. Hardy comes in and unloads for several minutes. AJ is placed over the top turnbuckle, face down. Hardy goes up top of a pod and hits a big swanton to AJ. The bows land hard. Brian comes over and covers Hardy for the pin. Hardy has been eliminated. A missed move, and you've been eliminated, Hardy. Brian with kicks in the corner to AJ. More chaos from the other participants. For a few minutes, Randy Orton was the last man in. He goes to work on AJ while AJ is upside down in the corner. Almost like a tree of woe. Kofi charges, but Orton drops him. Orton goes back to work on AJ in the corner. Brian ends up blocking the RKO and backsliding Orton for a 2 count. Orton drops Brian next. Kofi charges at Orton with a big drop kick as fans chant for Kofi's name. More back and forth all over the chamber now. This leads to Orton hit the RKO on AJ for the pin. AJ has been eliminated. Okay, AJ's been eliminated. Kofi and Orton go at it. Orton avoids the trouble in paradise. Orton crotches Kofi on the top now. Orton takes out Brian as he tries to come in from behind. This leads to Kofi dropping Orton with a trouble in paradise after blocking the RKO, covering a run for the pinfall, and Orton has been eliminated. Fans chant for Kofi again as he stands tall as Brian recovers. Brian and Kofi unload on each other now. Brian with kicks while Kofi is on his knees, bringing the no chants from the crowd. Kofi ducks a roundhouse kick and drops Brian with an SOS for another close pin attempt. Kofi leaps in from the corner but hits Turnbuckle's face first as Brian moves. Fan chant for Kofi as Brian taunts him. Talks some trash. Brian with more kicks in the corner as fan chant no again. Brian with 2 corner drop kicks and then a third and a fourth. Brian runs in for another drop kick but Kofi cuts him off and drops him for a very close 2 count. Kofi can't believe it. Fan chant Kofi's name again. Bryan rolls to the steel platform for a breather as Kobe approaches. Fans are booing. Kobe comes in from the steel instead, and they go at it. Kobe slams Bryan face into the steel wall over and over. Kobe gets hyped up as fans pop for him. Bryan counters the move and launches Kobe into the side of one of the pods, cutting off the energy from Kobe's supporters in the crowd. Bryan waits for Kobe to get up, and it hits a big running knee. Kobe still kicks at it too, and Bryan can't believe it. Fan chant for Kobe again, but Bryan just shakes his head. Bryan stands over Kobe and stomps away on his head while holding his arms, showing chain marks from his body being bruised up from the chains. Bryan covers for a 2 count. Bryan charges, but Kobe levels him out of nowhere for a close 2 count. Bryan covers for a 2 count. Bryan charges, but Kobe levels him out of nowhere for another close 2 count. Bryan drops Kobe into the label lock. Bryan transitions as Kobe tries to break free. Fan chant for Kobe again as he reaches the bottom rope. Kobe finally gets to the rope, and the hold is broken. Bryan is exhausted, laid out on top of Kobe. There's no count from the referee. Fan chant, this is awesome. Bryan goes to the top rope, but Kobe crotches him. Fan chanting for Kobe again as he climbs to the top with Bryan. Bryan escapes to the top of the pod. Kobe joins him on top of the pod and works him over. Kobe smashes Bryan back into the glass of the pod. Kobe stands up with Bryan on top of the pod. Now as Kobe looks to hit the superplex from the top of the pod to the ring, but Bryan fights back. Bryan smashes Kobe's head into the pod glasses. Both superstars still up high on top of the pod. Bryan tries for a superplex, but Kobe resists. Kobe beats Bryan down on top of the pod. Kobe kicks Bryan to the top of the turnbuckle, and then down to the mat with a boot to the face. Kobe stands on top of the pod as the fans cheer him on. Kobe leaps out with a big crossbody, but nobody's there. Bryan rolls out of the way. Kobe gets up, but Bryan charges in with a running knee to the face and covers to win. After the match, the energy has been exhausted, sucked out of the arena as everyone is shocked at the finish. Bryan recovers and stands tall as the music plays. We go to replays as Bryan exits the chamber as Rowan comes to the ramp to help him to the back. Kobe is still trying to recover and get to his feet. Now as the referee checks on him, fans give him a standing ovation. Zarbier Woods and Big E run down and climb into the chamber now to check on Kobe. Fan chant, thank you, Kobe, as Big E and Zarbier help him to his feet. New Day's music hits, and they all stop to have a seat on the steps of the chamber. Taking everything in, the New Day heads up the ramp together as fans chant for Kobe. 2019 Chamber pay-per-view goes off the air at that point, with New Day standing tall on the stage as Kobe chant from the crowd still going on. And that concludes my pay-per-view results. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on me. If you don't know, just call me brothers and sisters.